Hi guys, I am back with the update of this Suzuki SX4, and I will also be comparing this with Suzuki Swift just in case you're in the market looking for a used one. Hopefully this video will help you make a good decision. Do leave that in the comment below which one you prefer. But first, let's talk about this SX4. In this video, I will be talking about the repairs, the fuel consumption, and the performance. Now when I first brought it, I noticed that the wheels screeched quite badly when I did tight turning, so I knew the alignment was off. So I got the alignment done. Now everything is working fine when doing tight turning. The aircon gas was empty, so I got that refilled. And there are two belts here, and they were about to snap. So I got both belts replaced. The transmission fluid is new. It's got this dipstick as well. Now when I brought the car, they gave me this engine oil to change, but this engine oil is not very suitable for Suzuki engine. It's quite cheap as well, so I didn't use it. I replaced it with 5W30. It is more efficient and better for the engine as well. So everything under the hood has been fixed, no problem, no issue. Everything is working fine. Everything is running great, except the air filter may needs to be changed in the next service. Other than that, everything else is fine. It's got this beautiful tablet, which was already here when I bought the car, but it had no reverse camera. So I asked them to install the reverse camera as well. This dashboard popped out a little bit, so I used super glue to glue it back, which seems to work very well. The steering wheel was not in a very good condition, so I used this carbon fiber sticker to wrap around it. Very nice and tight. I don't like to use steering wheel cover because I don't think it looks good. Okay, let's talk about the fuel consumption and the performance. I get about 10.3 kilometers per liter. That doesn't mean anything because fuel consumption is very subjective. It depends on where you drive and how you drive it. So to put that in perspective, the Suzuki Swift, I get about 12 to 13 kilometers per liter. So the Suzuki Swift can go about 2 or 3 kilometers further with 1 liter. Does that make sense? I wouldn't say that it is very economical, but I wouldn't say it is a gas hog either. I think 1 liter for 10 kilometers is not bad in the city. Generally, I always rate this car a little higher than other cars. For some reason, in most cars that I drive, take for example Toyota Wish, at 2000 RPM cruising, it will do around 100 kilometers per hour. This car at 2000 RPM, it's only doing about 80 kilometers per hour. So it is a lot less. So I tend to rev the engine up a little bit higher. So I think the fuel consumption is from there. Now comparing this car to the Suzuki Swift, I love the build quality in this car much better, even though the design is not as beautiful as the Swift, but the paint quality is excellent, more long lasting, and overall quality, I think it is a much more solid car compared to the Swift. So apart from revving the engine a little higher than other cars, the overall performance of the car is great. I love it. It does take off quite well. It's not a sluggish car. So let's go to the Swift. This is Suzuki Swift. Smaller, lighter, cuter, and quicker. It's more fun, more convenient, more economical, and more responsive. If only the build quality was just a little bit better. As for the interior, overall looks really pleasant. The plastic looks really nice, smooth, and very pleasant. In fact, it looks a lot better than many other small cars that I've been to, except that it's very thin, and that's why it tends to rattle very easily. The paint quality also very bad. I got some parts of this car sprayed, but some other parts also start fading away. Now, every time I buy a car, I spend a lot of time and money fixing the car. And usually when they put out the car saying that buy and drive, nothing needs to be repaired, that's not always the case. It's a complete nonsense to me. um, I brought the car very well aware that there were a lot of things that needed to be fixed. And when I was driving home, the engine bay was going crrrr, and then the boot was rattling like mad. Crrrr, 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 crrrr. And one of the wheel bearings was humming along all the way. And other noises from everywhere were coming together. But I spent a lot of time fixing everything, nailing down all the problems in this car. And I shared in my previous video some of the things that I fixed, but that was not all. As time went by, there's so many other things to be fixed. So I have this love and hate relationship with this car. While I really love driving this car, it's really cute, it's very fun to drive, but at the same time, there's so many things to be fixed. It's got like 150,000 kilometers now, which is not that high compared to other cars that I've driven with a lot less problems. Small cars like my V would have less problem than this, but I had to deal with the coolant leak, the engine leak, the brake fluid leak, and of course had to replace the spark plug as well because of misfiring. Um, Recently, I also fixed the starter, which cost me almost 500 just for the starter. Right, so everything has been fixed in this car. There's nothing else to fix. So when it's stationary idling, this car is more quiet than the Suzuki SX4. But of course, when it moves on the road, it is just as noisy as other car too. Road noise, tire noise, and wind noise. Because this is definitely not the most insulated car for this price range anyway. But if you're looking for a small car, very small, economical, nice to drive, if you just put up with the paint quality a little bit, take the Swift. Take the Swift. I I think the SX4 just feels quite heavy and not as economical, and it doesn't look as cute as this. But if you need something with probably better reliability and tougher, a little higher, and the Suzuki SX4 is good. Both of these cost about the same when they're old, so whichever options, whichever you need is both fine to me. So thank you for watching. You have a good day.